Isaiah Carter had always been an ordinary man, working long hours at the warehouse to provide for his family. He had no criminal record, no enemies, just a quiet life in a tough neighborhood. That changed the night he was arrested for murder. It had happened fast. A liquor store robbery gone wrong. A clerk shot dead. Witnesses swore they saw Isaiah fleeing the scene. Surveillance footage was conveniently missing, and the prosecution wasted no time painting him as a violent criminal. A jury of 12, mostly white, barely deliberated before convicting him. The judge, known for his harsh sentences, wasted no words as he handed down the death penalty. Isaiah had felt the world collapse around him. His public defender barely fought for him, and the trial felt like a show, orchestrated to produce a guilty verdict. His alibi, a friend who had been with him at a diner miles away at the time, was dismissed without much thought. The evidence, or lack thereof, was ignored in favor of a prosecution eager to close the case. He sat in his cold prison cell for months, waiting, suffocating under the weight of an execution date that loomed closer each day. The isolation, the fear, the growing realization that his life was slipping through his fingers, all of it gnawed at him, wearing him down. That was when Leah Johnson stepped in. Leah was relentless, a fierce attorney with a sharp mind and a past that made her fight harder than most. Her father had been killed by corrupt officers when she was just 12, a crime that was buried under fabricated reports and false testimonies. That injustice had shaped her, forged her into the kind of lawyer who never backed down. When she heard about Isaiah's case, she knew something was wrong. From the start, the inconsistencies were glaring. The security footage had vanished, and the supposed eyewitnesses had questionable backgrounds. One was a repeat informant. The other had a criminal record and a connection to the real killer. Leah dug deeper, uncovering phone records, financial statements, and police reports that pointed to a frame-up. The prosecution had ignored key details, and the police had conveniently overlooked another suspect, a man matching the real shooter's description, last seen in the area. Leah spent nights reviewing every document, questioning every angle. She met with Isaiah in prison, seeing firsthand the toll it had taken on him. The weight of hopelessness in his eyes ignited something within her. "I know you didn't do this," she told him firmly, "and I'm going to prove it." For the first time in months, Isaiah felt a flicker of hope. But fighting the system wasn't easy. The judge dismissed her motions for a retrial. The district attorney refused to consider new evidence. The clock was ticking, and Isaiah was running out of time. Leah went beyond the legal process. She started digging into the lives of those involved in the case. She tracked down the lead detective, uncovering a history of falsified evidence in previous convictions. She reached out to the original witnesses and found one who was willing to talk, under the condition of anonymity. The witness confessed that they had been pressured by the police to identify Isaiah as the shooter, despite their uncertainty. Then, she found the break she needed. A digital forensics expert managed to recover the deleted security footage from a backup database. The grainy image showed the real killer, a man with a distinctive scar, nowhere near resembling Isaiah. Leah took the evidence to the appellate court, bypassing the corrupt judge. Leah also uncovered a paper trail showing that the prosecution had deliberately withheld this footage. The district attorney had been aware of its existence but suppressed it to secure a conviction. It was more than just a wrongful conviction. It was corruption at its deepest level. Public outrage swelled as the media caught wind of the case. Protests erupted outside the courthouse, demanding justice. Under mounting pressure, the appellate court ruled in Isaiah's favor. His conviction was overturned, and after 3 years behind bars for a crime he didn't commit, Isaiah walked out of prison a free man. But freedom came at a cost. The years stolen from him couldn't be returned. The trauma of waiting to die wasn't something he could erase. The moments of panic in the middle of the night, the nightmares that dragged him back into that cold, dark cell, those remained. The difficulty of reintegrating into society after years of being branded a criminal was another battle he had to fight. Still, there was some justice. The state awarded him $1 million in compensation for his wrongful imprisonment, a sum that could never truly repay him, but at least provided a new beginning. As he stood outside the courthouse, Leah by his side, Isaiah looked up at the sky, feeling the sun on his face for the first time as a free man. "You saved my life," he said softly. Leah shook her head. "Number." The truth did. And as they walked away, both knew the fight for justice was far from over. Because for every Isaiah Carter, there were countless others still trapped in a system designed to fail them. Leah wasn't done fighting yet, and neither was Isaiah. Months later, Leah continued working on wrongful conviction cases, determined to expose more of the corruption plaguing the legal system. Isaiah, though still struggling with the trauma of his experience, used his platform to speak out about injustice. He visited law schools, community centers, and even testified before committees pushing for criminal justice reform. One evening, as Leah sat in her office, sifting through another wrongful conviction case, she received a call from Isaiah. "There's something else I need to do," he said. "I want to help." Leah smiled. "I thought you might." Together, they founded an organization dedicated to exonerating the wrongfully convicted, holding corrupt officials accountable, and pushing for reforms. It was a long road ahead, but they were ready for the fight. Because justice wasn't just about one man's freedom. It was about fixing a broken system.